Hey, Michael.
Hey, Will, and a very warm good afternoon from QBS. So yesterday we had the first day from Directions, virtual Directions this year. I think same as we, most of the people are really sad that they couldn't be in person into an event like that because. Despite all the content that we will talk about in a minute, one of the nice things and the value of these events is that you get to see each other, that you have these small talks and build connections, get to find new opportunities there. So that didn't happen. I would say, as a starting point, the Directions Committee did a huge job in putting this all together as a virtual event.
Yeah.
This is at a magnitude that is quite a thing. They have, I think, more attendees than ever. And we heard some feedback that for many partners, they actually brought in more people because it was easier to, buy a ticket, let people go in online, so no travel needed. So that actually increased the attendance, so that's good. A lot of people attended the session. And it started off with a keynote from the new GM for the development of Microsoft Business Central, Mike Moulton, which I think was a great keynote. So what is sort of summary of that keynote, Will?
Yeah, so good question. And I would say, yeah, just kind of validate what you just said there. It's, the virtual experience has been as good as it can be. Obviously, it's quite nice to actually get some sleep during Directions, which I think is a first for us. But we're looking forward to seeing everybody in face-to-face in 2021. So I've got a number of takeaways from the keynote that Mike addressed, and it was great to see Mike in the virtual flesh. I think we would have seen him a lot sooner if it wasn't for the COVID crisis. And one of my observations would be is that the keynote for me gave me 3 C's. What I mean by 3 C's, the themes were confidence, which I'll go on to in a moment. COVID-19, which does seem to be a bit of a recurring thing, and then finally collaboration. So why have I got such a big smile on my face? Why do I have this great feeling of confidence? It's to do with the numbers. You see the growth of Business Central to finally get to that 10,000 installed customers running on Business Central SaaS. If you look at the growth, 250% growth year on year. And also, if you kind of look at some of the other less headline-y types of numbers, like the number of apps in App Source, more than 1,000 apps in App Source now. This is a very, very, very big deal. And one of the other interesting stats was the number of partners that have actually transacted Business Central SaaS. 2,200 partners.
Now, amazing, yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing number. Now, it's really interesting because if we look in this virtual Directions room, we know that these the organizations that have invested and built Business Central capability, or traditionally NAV capability, they're the ones that are driving that 10,000 customer ad. And so everybody should feel really, really proud and really, really happy. Mike also went on to talk about the investments they're making in the platform. I mean, we saw some very cool demos. I mean, look, I'm not the most technical person on the planet anymore. Usually when someone flashes up some code on screen, I usually feel this beads of sweat and fear overcoming me. But actually, the demo was very, very impactful in terms of the way it empowered partners to troubleshoot and manage their customer implementations. And if we look back to some of the challenges that we've heard over the last 6, 12, 18, 24 months around Business Central, there's been a lower level of confidence than we would have kind of expected, because partners haven't been able to get under the hood, haven't been able to do what they traditionally did on premise with NAV or Business Central on prem. And that's huge. That's absolutely huge. And if you look at the roadmap that's being put together, I think it's properly exciting. They're focusing on some key areas. They're focusing on further performance enhancement, listening to the channel in terms of report extensibility. These are very, very.
Yeah, and I think what was striking to me was that they are really serious now in terms of scaling this product, right? Not only scaling in terms of performance, so that they also allow larger customers to take advantage, but to accelerate the onboarding, which basically they showed you can think about it as self-service type visit customers to at least get through the initial setup of a system. Doesn't mean that it becomes a fully self-service experience, but to take away that your company ID and everything that is sort of base information, you can do it yourself. And I think with all of that, they really try to add more capacity to the channel, to the consultants that are out there, so that they can accelerate and speed up the onboarding process, so that you can actually take on more and more customers. So I think I was very pleased to see that, because I think they're really taking it serious now.
Yeah, and it's great, because when I go to my second C, which is collaboration, this falls neatly into this resource challenge that we've all got today. And when I talk about collaboration, it's not just the partner-to-partner motion, but it's working with other elements of the Microsoft technology stack. We haven't seen the Common Data Service and Power Apps, put out on the same level as Business Central to the extent that we have in this directions, and that's fantastic. Why? Because it creates that low-code, no-code entry into Business Central, and creating that vertical or that unique customer experience. And I think that's huge. But also, if you look at the fastest selling SKU that Microsoft have ever had, Teams, and you look at the work that's been done around Business Central, embedding Business Central into Teams, I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing. Suddenly, this means that from a collaboration standpoint, Teams is the heart of collaboration. So if you're not familiar with Teams today, it's an opportunity, right?
Yeah. So no, I think that I always, same as you, look at some of those features as being non-technical person saying like, so what? But as you said, I think what was striking is the empowerment that Microsoft also gives to partners to basically manage telemetry, to get better insight into performance, and making sure that you can serve your customers even better than before. I think was pretty striking. So I think overall we should be quite optimistic, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I think we should be, and I don't think you or I have ever used the word telemetry in any presentation that we've ever done.
All right, well, so I think we're off for a good start on directions. Tomorrow is then the second day where we will see Cecilia on the virtual stage. We gotta see if we have anybody visiting our booth, hopefully, so that at least we can have a virtual chat. And with that, we're gonna be back to you tomorrow. In the meantime, you have a great day, and talk to you tomorrow. And thanks, Will, for your first impressions.
My pleasure. And guys, don't forget, Wednesday, 10:30, check me out at my presentation talking about the 3 big blockers to migrating to SaaS.
Perfect. Thanks, Will.